Hello. We are evidently in for a heck of a storm today, so stay inside the house. Oh, wait. You're already supposed to be doing that, aren't you? Well, yet another reason. I have already seen most of your interview notes forms resubmitted with the answers from your interview subjects. I was able to conference with a few more of you yesterday, and I think most of you are in good shape to write your story. I will try to contact the rest of you today. I saw a lot of great quotes you can use, and I think we'll have some really good work done that we can share with our MHS family and with the community. Today I'm going to review lead writing and the LQTW format and sign the rough draft of the stories. I spoke with a couple of you, and I think I'll give everybody until Monday at 8 o'clock a.m. to turn in the rough draft. If you finish early, of course, you're welcome to turn it in early to give me a head start editing and proofing. Okay, let's start by reviewing how to write a strong summary lead. I'm going to run through this information pretty quickly, both because you've seen it before and because I am attaching the slideshows to today's announcement on Google Classroom, so you can look it over if you need to. Basic guidelines for a lead. Use the 5 W's and H. Keep it around 25 words. The type you want to use most are the what, why, and how leads. Still not as good, but still good, the who lead. Try to avoid when and where leads. Use the who lead when the person is the most important part of the story. Avoid the when and where leads. Time and place are rarely the most important thing. The why lead focuses on the action, specifically the reason the action happened, and the how lead explains the process of the action. But the what lead is your go-to, because obviously what happened is almost always the most interesting thing. These rules are for summary leads, but there are other types of leads. An anecdotal or narrative lead might be an interesting way to open this story, but only if you can tell an uplifting story, not a frightening one. An anecdote is just a short story. So if you want to open with a story about somebody doing something amazing in spite of the circumstances, that would be good. Don't tell negative stories, though. People are scared enough already. We want to make things better, not worse. The descriptive lead wouldn't work for this type of story because the stories are from virtual interviews. So don't even bother with these ones on the right side. Next, let's look at the LQTW story format. You've written a great lead. Now what do you do? Direct quotes. They're the meat of these stories, the focus. You connect them with your transitions, but great quotes are what makes the stories come alive. Quotes should always be linked to the paragraph before them, and after them for that matter, which will be your transition paragraphs. After the quotes, flow into your next transition paragraph, which adds further details. This, in turn, will introduce your next quote. Keep alternating transitions and quotes, but make sure you have a thread running through connecting each transition and quote to the ones before and after it. Don't say the same thing in your quote and your transition. That's called a stutter quote. Avoid them. Quotes can be more than one sentence, but put the attribution, which is the said so-and-so, after the first sentence. You can continue, but put the attribution after the first sentence. And the attribution goes in that order, noun, then verb. Senior Bob Rodriguez said, don't say said Senior Bob Rodriguez. As a matter of fact, after you introduce Senior Bob Rodriguez, just said Rodriguez, just the last name is enough. Finally, you can have multiple sentence quotes, but all the sentences must be from the same source. You can't mix sources in the same paragraph. You would have to start another paragraph to use another quote, and you'd probably want to put a transition in between them. You definitely want to put a transition, I think. All right. Use quotes that express emotion, that tell how people feel. And dry facts have their place more in the transitions than the quotes, but you could have statistics if it's appropriate. But it's the imagery that makes the stories come alive, okay? And finally, your transitions, mainly the thing I want you to take away, they provide context and flow to the stories. They hold the stories together and they create voice. So be concise and make your words count. Okay, guys, write a great story, turn it in to me by 8 o'clock a.m. on Monday, April 6th. And in the meantime, have fun, stay safe and dry, and come back to me tomorrow happy and healthy.